My name's Amy. I'm 43. I live in the southwest of England. I'm originally from the north of England, and this is my first attempt at a Flosstube video. I've seen so many people doing it. I've been watching it for years and meaning to do it for years, and I just thought I'd have a go. I will apologise in advance for what it's going to be like, but let's go. So I've been stitching probably for, I don't know exactly when I started stitching, over 20 years. Most of my stitching up until recently has been done from magazines. Magazines I've bought or been gifted. I've been gifted so many magazines over the years, big stacks that I've seen on Freebay or been given by friends. And it's given me this sort of thing to do. This is for my daughter Imogen. Obviously, she has been playing football for years, and this is the sort of little mini thing that I like, that I have been sort of liking to do, because they're quick. That probably took me an afternoon or 2 afternoons or something, and I like the quick progress. I'm quite an impatient person. I will find out exactly, that's quite a recent one actually. That was probably towards the either earlier this year or end of last year that was in a magazine, Cross Stitch Crazy I think. Then this was my very first cross stitch, my very first cross stitch ever, which I think again was from a magazine, probably a kit on the front of a magazine many years ago. I'm talking probably over 20 years ago. So I have no idea. It's a bit stained at the bottom. It was in my bathroom for years. I have taken it out recently and tried to wash it, but it's got a bit stained. But I don't know, I quite think it sort of adds to the fact that it's old, so it means a lot to me, that one. I've done little ones like this. I do have a Sully one as well somewhere, which obviously I couldn't find right now, but I do have pictures for it, so I'll add that in a minute. This again, I think it was just from a magazine years ago. I'll add in here some pictures of other past cross stitches that I have done, but I don't have anymore, because most of my cross stitches I've generally done as gifts for other people. It's hard for me to do things for myself, so stitching for myself, unfortunately, is something that hasn't happened much over the years, but it's starting to happen more now. For example, this is the biggest piece I've ever done, and this was a piece that I'd had my eye on for years and never thought that I would be able to do it. But this is my Henry VIII and his 6 wives. I'm not sure if I can get it all in. This I started last April and finished this February, and I just absolutely love it. I got this as a kit from eBay, and it is for myself, and I will frame it at some point. I just haven't got around to it at the moment. But I absolutely love history and archaeology. That's one of my other passions, and while I was stitching that, I learnt so much about Henry and his wives. I watched YouTube videos on everything to do with Henry VIII and his wives, and learnt so much while I was stitching that. So it sort of fulfilled me in 2 ways, the stitching and the learning. My current whip is one for my husband, which he's been asking me to do for ages. This is the Royal Engineers emblem. He's in the Royal Engineers. He's been in for over 18 years now, and he's been moaning for me to do this. I did start it many years ago here and got really quite far into it. But I don't know if you can see, this side is correct, this side is wrong. But I thought this side was correct and this side was wrong. Anyway, either way, I frogged this side 2 or 3 times, redid it, and I just couldn't get it right. And I've since realised that actually it's down here. Down here is where I've gone wrong, which has knocked everything out on this side. But I just flung it aside for years because I couldn't get it right. I think we all know that feeling. So because it's lockdown and because I've got a bit of time, I thought, right, I'm going to actually redo it, restart it, and do it for him. And I've been doing this a couple of weeks now, probably, stitching quite a lot because we are on lockdown and I don't have a great deal else to do. Well, I probably do, but I'm not. I'm doing stitching. So this, hopefully, I just need to do this green bit up here and then the back stitch, which is quite a lot of back stitch. There's lettering and stuff around here, but I'll get it done. I'll get it done in the next week or so, probably. Right, what else have I got to show you? That's my current whip, which I messed up on. I've got some videos which I took outside earlier, which I'm going to put in here. And this is sort of leading on to my next project that I want to do, which is the fairy letter M by Nora Corbett. So these are my new classic colour work threads, which I'm just going to show outside on the trampoline. Excuse the vast trampoline, but I like them in the natural light. And this is called Second Hand Rose. As you can see, they're all variegated, hand dyed variegated with a DMC base. Cottage Garden, which is absolutely gorgeous. Not sure if that's focusing. Organza Pink. Lavender Louise. I love the names of them as well. Pink Peony. Spun Sugar. This looks a bit darker on the camera. It's actually really light, just an off-white really. Smoke, which is like a purpley colour, and this one, which I just bought because I liked it, not because I have any plans for it, is called Bejeweled, and I'm not sure if you can see it there. I just loved it, just had to have it. And these, most of these, I haven't decided which ones yet, but most of these are going to be used on the Nora Corbett fairy letter M conversion that I'm going to be doing soon, definitely soon. Of course, as soon as I've decided to come and film outside for some natural light, the wind's picked up and the sun's gone behind a cloud. But anyway, we'll persevere. I just wanted to show you my Mill Hill beads, my little collection. I'm sorry if the wind is really noisy. These are the ones here which I've got on my fairy letter E, which wasn't a conversion, I just followed the pattern. And then for my fairy letter M, which I'm going to do soon, my own conversion, I've chosen some pinks and just a sort of plain white one there. And then this came yesterday and I'm just absolutely in awe of it, and it's for this beautiful lady, the Cathedral Woods Goddess, which I hope to stitch again soon. But I just love these, and I don't know if you can see in there, but they are little, what are they called? Maple leaves there. Just so beautiful. I just love them. And I also have the Snow Queen, which is a pipe dream at the moment because it's so expensive to kit up. It's going to be one of those things that just gets built up over time, I think. But what I hope to do, my ultimate dream, is to stitch a conversion of her in autumnal colours, and then choose 2 other Mirabilias that I think look spring-like and summer-like, and then have winter, autumn, summer and spring. not necessarily in that order. But I'm going to be doing a conversion of her. I do love her colours, but I've seen a conversion that's even nicer, so I think. But yeah, that's my plans. I'm late to the party of Nora Corbett and Mirabilia, but I'm here now, and as anyone who's into these sorts of cross stitches knows, it's a rabbit hole and you fall down it and you want them all. But I've started, first one I did was my fairy letter E for my niece Elsa, which I'll show you on the video that I've done outside. This is my first ever Nora Corbett, first fairy letter, first introduction to Nora, and then Mirabilia's, which I've fallen down the rabbit hole of. And I don't know if you can see, but it's full of beads. It wasn't my first introduction to beading, because on the flamenco dancer that I did for my mum, which I'll also show you, that had beading on as well. But there's some different sized beads, different coloured beads, and it's just beautiful. I love her. She's for my niece Elsa. And it was just, I framed it myself with a frame from the range. Done it outside for some natural light, because I don't feel like you can appreciate it properly unless it's in natural light. But I'm going on to do the fairy letter M, which I've got kitted up here. This is my little box which I got from Amazon. Just got this week. I've got several of these, but I got this one this week. It was $12.99 from Amazon, and it came with, I think, about 200 of these bobbins. It comes with a little machine to wind your bobbins, and I thought it was pretty good really for $12.99, and it came literally within a couple of days, and it's good for you know, a fairly small project. You can fit quite a lot in it, I suppose, but that's what I tend to do with my projects that I've kitted up, put them in a little box. And I'm thinking of stitching her on this, but which came from a kit that I got absolutely years ago, a Stonehenge kit, which I started to stitch. Wasn't very experienced back then, didn't really know what I was doing. But the other day I pulled out what I'd stitched, which was only a little bit in the middle, gave it a wash. It's come up really nicely and it's really lovely. It's like a mottled effect. I think it's printed on, it's not dyed, it's printed on. But I thought that it looked really nice with the colours that I've got, which I'll put a photo in of them together here. But I do also have some even weave on order. It's 32 count, which I've never stitched on before. That's coming this week, and it's sort of a purpley colour, so I'm going to wait to see what that looks like with my colours. What I do is I, you know, pick the Ada or even weave that I want and lay the colours on it, and you know, see if they look good. This is when I'm doing a conversion, because I will say that the Nora Corbett M, fairy letter M, I'm doing is a conversion, so it's not the colours that it's stitched in and advertised in. I wanted to make it, I think it's in a green colour, which I did like, but it's for my niece and she's really girly, so I wanted to do it pinks, and pink is my favourite colour, so I'm always going to jump at the chance to stitch in pink. So when that comes this week, I'll show you that, and I'll decide on which one I'm going to stitch on. So that's about it for this video, my first video. I hope you like it. If you do, subscribe. I can't really say how often I'm going to upload. At the moment, I'm just a one project stitcher at a time. I like to start one and finish it, start one and finish it, because I feel if I start more, I'll never go back to the previous ones. But I realise that is not that interesting for Flosstube. So we'll see. I may start other projects. I may not. I'll see. We'll just see how this goes. But if you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. And I'm going to be showing you other things in other videos, like the other crafts that I'm into, not just cross stitching. And that's it. See you next time.